Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. National Assembly leaders meet President Muhammadu Buhari over Plateau killings as Speaker Yakubu Dogara hints on a possible reorganization of Nigeria's security architecture. Nigerian army parades suspects linked to Plateau killings as protesters storm Plateau State Government House in Jos. Suspected herdsmen kill 2 soldiers, injure 5 others in latest attack on Guma local government area of Benue State. And world's foremost chemical weapons watchdog, OPCW, grants itself new powers to assign blame for attacks despite protests by Russia. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is asking parents and guardians to lead the fight against drug abuse by youths and minors in order to safeguard their future. This formed the key point of discussions at lectures to mark the 2018 International Day Against Drug Abuse in different states across the country.
In Nigeria, statistics from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in 2007 ranked Kano State in Nigeria the highest in the rate of drug addiction in the country, with over 2 million bottles of codeine consumed daily. In 1998, the United Nations launched a special session on drugs to, amongst other things, ensure a world drug control system. Nigeria is joining this year's commemoration of the United Nations Day Against Drug Abuse and Trafficking with the theme, Listen First. In this hall in Oka, the Anambra State capital, students gather to make their contribution in the fight against drug abuse.
We engage in drug trafficking because we need to generate income, or we engage in drug trafficking because we really want to be like those people.
And in addition to what they already know, there's a call for them to shun abuse. In Enugu State, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is bringing the state governor, children, youth and even religious leaders together to help take their anti-drug message to all the nooks and crannies of the state. Governor Gwanya assures the agency of his government's support.
Continue to offer a firm cooperation, support and assistance towards ensuring even better successes in the operation of the agency in Enugu State.
Edo State is not left out. The agency organizes a workshop for students and youth. There, it lists its achievements in recent times.
Command counseled 189 drug-dependent persons and reintegrated them into the society, as well as securing the conviction of 34 drug dealers.
The NDLEA in Adamawa State unveils some of the ways drugs are abused.
It is important for parents to know and pay attention to recently discovered substances of abuse, with dry pawpaw leaves, 10 days human urine, methylated spirit in coke drink, dry plantain leaves, burnt tires, among others.
As the youth, who are the main target of this campaign, bear their minds on how to better fight the menace, the responsibility is now on every policymaker to take this information seriously in order to succeed in the war against drug abuse.
Joining me now to discuss this challenge is a psychiatrist in the Department of Psychiatry, College of Medicine, University of Lagos, Dr. Pt.2. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you very much, Ijoma.
Well, global attention this year is on young people. So how concerned are you about young people and drug abuse? Let's start from there.
Well, Ijoma, there's a national calamity facing us. We're in trouble because the hope of this nation, the future of tomorrow, the hope that we all believe that by the time the old ones, by the time they leave, we take up the mantle of leadership. They are dying. When I say dying, it is not physical death, but they are dying of drug addiction. And it has become not only a national menace, but a national emergency.
Do you have any statistics that you want to share with us? Because I know, recently codeine was one of the issues that came up about, the rising incidences of it, the use of it in some parts of the country. But do you have any statistics of us?
Well, the truth is that there are many statistics, but the frightening ones are, number one, when you talk about that, at least more than 40% of our youth have tried substance before, non-medically prescribed drugs. Two, the fact that the adolescents, the youth between the age of 25 and 30, you have 32% of them that has positive perception about drugs.
What do you mean? That
is, when you ask an average youth in Nigeria that, oh, the drugs, the effect and everything, they glamorize it. They never see it as something dangerous. That is, because once the perception is there that, oh, it's beautiful, from musicians and everything, it starts from perception. And when you're having 32% of positive perception with regards to is drug dangerous or not, then we need to start there.
But what is it about drugs, in this season or this era, shall I say? Because there are campaigns. The more you say no to drugs, the more they seem to be addicted to them. What are some of the factors that's causing it?
Well, there are multifactorial issues. First of all, we are losing our values. It's a society that is gradually declining and detaching itself from its value. We are losing our values with regards to don't do this, don't do that. So when we glamorize what is bad, that is first thing, value, loss of value. Next thing, the rate of unemployment. Then parents don't have time. Parents are choosing do this, do that for their children. Their homes are being destroyed, homes in disarray, financial problem. And then parents are not listening to their children. And because of that, they take solace in gangs and they come together to take some of these drugs in order to enhance their mood, to feel that there's no problem, perception of time, the way they see time goes, and they just feel relaxed, although it is momentary. And unfortunately, some also go into drugs ignorantly, because addiction does not start in a day. It starts with experiment. Oh, we're having party. Oh, text this. Oh, this is nice. Then you move to the next stage, which is purposeful. Oh, Ijoma, that thing you gave me the other time, oh, it made me to sleep. It made me to relax. It made me to feel so. Can I have it? So you now begin to use it. And then you move to the third stage, which is intensive use. So for every time I want to hear, sleep, or feel all right, in quotes, I now begin to take it. And then you go to the last, which is the apex of the pyramid, addiction. At that stage, you are no longer in control. The drug is now the one in control of you.
All right, so just briefly now, for parents and guardians that are watching tonight, what are the top 3 signs that they should look out for? And then how do you think we can bring this to some sort of an end?
That's a very good question, because the truth is that you will not actually catch any of this until maybe they've gone mentally ill or they've been sent out of school or anything. There are signs that you know that your child is having a problem of drugs. One, school performance, because there's what we call primacy of use. Rather than face the academics, they will start neglecting lectures and co. So performance. Two, they begin to interact less interaction. They want to keep to themselves because they want to hide the thing. They don't want it to perceive. They don't want it to, and they take all sorts of things, mixtures, pit latrine, petrol, gum, gutter, everything, lizard dungs, every other thing. So when you see that your child your word is withdrawing, it does not want to pick call, and busy I'll call you and everything, there may be a problem. Or it just becomes defiant, unnecessarily angry. I'm an adult. I want to do it my way. You are controlling me. Those are signs that some things are going underneath.
All right, Dr. Peter Anubi, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us as we try to bring this challenge to an end. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joma.
Well, let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Makwe Ogun Yusuf. Makwe?
Hello, Ijoma. The federal government has dismissed reports that Nigeria has overtaken India as the country with the largest number of extremely poor people in 2018. After the Federal Executive Council meeting, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, said the report might be based on past data when the country was still in recession. Brookings Extreme Poverty Projection, published last week, revealed that Nigeria has about 87 million people in extreme poverty, taking over from India. Our correspondent Gloria Umezioke reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrives to chair the Federal Executive Council meeting after a short trip to Plateau State over the latest killings. Addressing journalists after a closed-door meeting, which lasted for hours, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment responded to reports indicating Nigeria tops the list of largest number of people with extreme poverty.
When you get reports from Brookings Institute, all these sort of people, you need to look at the context. I mean, somebody may have written a report when we're in recession. There is absolutely no question that there is an urgency to create employment in Nigeria, and it has to be a collective responsibility. What I can tell you is that if you complete the things we're doing on infrastructure and you implement these reports we're doing, that's what I mean by a leading indicator. Poverty will go down. There's no magic to it.
Presidential spokesman Mr. Garba Shehu also revealed approval of 33 million naira by the council to upscale examination processes in the Joint Matriculation Examination Board, JAMB.
They have requested, as they did today, for government to buy up one of the CBT, computer-based test organization, for some 133 million naira. That they bought over infrastructure, equipment and building. So the effort is that JAM wants to take total control of all these examination processes in order to avoid leakages that had in the past attended their own examinations.
Several other approvals include 130 billion naira for the reconstruction of the Jebba-Mokwa Bridge, which collapsed in June 2018, to be completed within 36 months, as well as a total of 3.1 billion naira for the creation of special economic zones across the country. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezioke, Channels Television News.
Out of the court, a federal high court sitting in Lagos has ordered the temporary forfeiture of a landed property linked to the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Desiani Alice Madueke, to the federal government. The property, described as a vacant plot of land, is valued at 325 million naira, and the EFCC says it's suspected to have been acquired with proceeds from unlawful activity. The commission told the court that in 2016, a search warrant was executed at the office and premises of one Mr. Donald Chidi Amangbo, a known acquaintance of the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, where a list of 18 companies and several properties located in the United Kingdom, Nigeria and the United States of America was recovered. After listening to the arguments from the counsel to the EFCC, the trial judge, Justice Babs Kwewumi, granted the application for interim forfeiture of the property to the federal government of Nigeria. Now, Justice Kwewumi further ruled that the order must be published in a national newspaper for anybody who has interest in the property to come forward and show cause why it should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government. The court then adjourned further proceedings to July the 24th. I will take a moment now. When the news at 10 returns, the Bank of Agriculture flags off the farming season in Kano, giving financial support to farmers. Do join us again.